Hi guys! It's almost February now, so I thought it would be a good time to go through my updated planner lineup with you because there have been quite a few changes since I introduced my 2018 lineup at the beginning of January. Despite the changes, some things always stay the same, and one of those is my trusty Hobonichi Cousin work planner. I've been using the Cousin as my work planner now for the past 3 years, and this one is coming to an end. It's the Spring 2017 Cousin, so I'll be ordering a new one from the Hobonichi shop when they go online in a few days. So I'm still using my Cousin in the exact same way. I'll just run through it quickly. I use the vertical spread as an index to the daily pages. Then I use the month on 2-page spread as a bird's eye overview of my month in terms of when I'm teaching, when I'm at home, what time I can devote to particular projects. And the weekly pages are really the heart of my planner lineup. This week gets really messy. I put all of my appointments on here, and then I put my to-dos for the day on here, and then when it gets too busy, as it has been for much of this month, I go over to the daily pages and I use the daily pages for more in-depth plans. So the daily pages are a mix of detailed daily planning and more long-term notes, project ideas, all kinds of things related to work. So that is my Cousin, and I've been using a mechanical pencil for the year because I wanted to be able to erase, and that has gone really well, so I think I'm going to carry on with that when I get my new Cousin. So this has really been my main planner, which I put all of my appointments in, and then other than that it's only work related, so I don't put any of my personal to-dos in here. I put my personal to-dos in here, so I'll talk about this in a minute. But I just wanted to say that when things get really busy at work, as they have been for the past month, I am using this, I would say, probably for 90% of my planning. So this is effectively my planner, this is constantly in my hand or in close reach, and I'm just in and out of this all day. And I, for the most part, could get by only with this, but I do like to keep my personal to-do separate for two reasons. One is because I have this open at work a lot, and sometimes people can see it, and so I'd rather that everything in it just be work related, because that I don't have to worry if there's anything in it that I wouldn't necessarily want someone at work to be able to see. Not that I have any super secrets, but I just like having it all work related. And the other reason is because you've seen how messy this gets. This is all just work to-dos. So if I had to add in things like do the laundry, go to the supermarket, that kind of thing, I would find it really overwhelming, and I prefer to keep those things separate in here, because then I can kind of switch mentally back and forth between workspace and personal space. So I really like that. But for practical purposes, this has basically been my planner, and this has just been like a footnote. So my personal planner is a Hobonichi Weeks, and this hasn't changed either. This is the 2018 Magikan Map Weeks that I started using in November, so I've actually been using this for 2 months now, and I really, really love how this has been working. I haven't really changed anything that remarkably from last time, but I have decided to use this in a particular way, which was a bit of an experiment, and I really like how it's turned out. So what I'm doing is, generally I don't write appointments in here, I just write to-dos. And so for example, this is the current week. I'll put to-dos that have to be done on a certain day on the left-hand side with the date, and then I just make a running to-do list for the week. So this is a little bit flexible in that sometimes I might have just a few to-dos on here that don't get done for the entire week, and then at the end of the week I've got a lot of space left over. This is what happened this week, because I was so busy at work that I just neglected this quite a lot. And so we got to Friday, which was yesterday, and I think I'd only written maybe 3 things in here. And so I then decided I actually had space to just make a long to-do list, the type that I might put in a daily planner, but I had so much space here, I just put it on here because I thought, why waste the space if I've got it blank? So I do that sometimes, and then, for the last couple of days of the week, I might have quite a lot of room. You can see for the past few weeks, again, because I've been so busy at work, I just have ended up having a lot of blank space in here, and so when that happens I go back and add stickers in so that I'm not left with blank spaces at the end, because I really like looking through the completed weeks, and I find it very satisfying to see what's been going on and what each week looked like, and it's just nice to have some color. So I only do that after the week is over and I'm guaranteed not to need the space. But some weeks, as you can see this one, I really used, you know, pretty much all of the space on the right side just with running to-dos. It just depends on the day and the week. So that works really well. I'm generally not putting appointments in here because they all go in my cousin, and so there's no point in doubling up. The only time I'll put an appointment in is if I don't have my cousin with me. I always have this with me. Generally I have my cousin too, but sometimes it's easier to get this out. And so if I make it, like say I book cinema tickets because we've been going to the cinema on Monday nights, that is something that I might put in here. But you know, it's just to-dos. And then I'm using the notes pages for just all kinds of different more long-term things. Like I saw a recipe on Instagram for zero waste vegan yogurt, and so I wrote it down in here because I had this to hand. And then I also saw zero waste cold remedy, so I wrote that down in here. And then I've written down a list of dinners that we like. So planner lineup. So I've got all kinds of different things in here, and what I've decided to do is just to put each new topic on a separate page so it's easy to find them. At the moment I'm leaving the index blank because I feel like the index is quite precious. There's not a huge amount of space in the index, and because we're still only in the end of January, there aren't so many filled pages in here that I find it difficult to locate things. But as the year goes on, I think I'll take the pages that I need to reference a lot and start putting them in the index here. I could also expand the index by adding it to the end, like making another index page at the very end, but I haven't done that yet. I'd like to keep it all in one place if possible. So this is, I'm not really using this for random scribbly notes. I'm using it more for long-term collections and things that I would like to be able to reference later, and I'm trying to keep it relatively neat. I have also added in this page at the back. So this is my 100. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this initially, so I've decided to keep one list here for TV shows that people recommend or that I read about somewhere that I think maybe if I have time I could try watching. Same for films, and then this is for other stuff like music, etc., things to try out, and websites. This one at the moment is my code for cheap cinema tickets on Monday nights, but I won't have many things like that, so it could be coupon codes that I see on the underground, other things like that, websites to check. And that's it. And then here I've got a separate week's notebook where I keep all of my passwords and login information for everything that's not work related, so I can just transfer this over from year to year. And then here I have another notebook which, oh sorry, opposite. This is the passwords, and this is just a random notebook for if I want to make a daily list or write down something that is very ephemeral and transient that I don't want to dedicate a separate page to in here. I think this is the sort of thing that the Weeks Mega would probably be good for, because you have so many notes pages that you could say, okay, I'm going to dedicate, I don't know, 50 pages or 75 pages just to random notes, daily to-do lists, things like that. You know, kind of back of an envelope type calculations. Obviously planner people never use the back of an envelope. We always have a dedicated planner for, you know, all of our rough notes, and then, you know, use some of it for more long-term things. But as I don't have the Weeks Mega, I'm doing it like this with this notebook. So that is the weeks, and I'm using a Kaweco Brassport with it, which I love. So really these two planners, as they have been for years in fact, are the core of my planning system and my only actual planners that I really need to, you know, get through the week. Then we go on to the more specific planners. So the first one is the large Erin Condren, which I'm using as a home planner, and this hasn't changed. So I've been using this as a pretty planner, and its main purpose is to record things that are relevant to both me and James. So birthdays, this is, let's see what's been going on in the last month, not a huge amount. If we're meeting somebody, if there's anything particular going on in terms of work, I label our work schedules, and then just random things like when we have to take the recycling out. And James wrote a phone number in here, which is quite horrifying because this is supposed to be untouched by human hands, only by stickers. And then I write the things on stickers. So I will have to cover that with a sticker. So there's really not a huge amount of information in this. It's mostly just for the decoration, and I leave it open on our table and then we can see it there, and it's, you know, nice and happy. So it's, sometimes James consults us to see if I'm going to be out, if I'm going to be in university, but it's not like we really need this. It's just like kind of a nice extra to have, and it's sort of like a family hub. So that is the big Erin Condren. And then I have been using this 5-year Techo to record highlights of the day and as a gratitude journal. So this has been working out really well. I am almost a month into it. So 1 month down, you know, 4 years and 11 months to go. So I think doing pretty well. But I really like this. I think part of the reason that I'm so motivated to use it every day and not skip any days, which I never have been before with my gratitude journals, is because I'm very conscious of the fact that it's a 5-year planner, and I don't want to have any blank days when I am looking over this like 4 years from now, let's say. I'd like to have every day, you know, the previous years filled in. And I'm kind of conscious of the fact that because this is so long term, that it's going to be a memory keeper, which I've never really had in the forefront of my mind before as something motivating me, I guess, for a gratitude journal. I've always just put them in recycling at the end of the year. So this is something kind of new, and I really enjoy it, thinking that this is going to be a document that I will look back on in years to come, and I really like that. I like the design, I like the feel of it, it's very satisfying to write in. I've worked out what to do about the issue with, you know, the misalignment between the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So what I'm doing is I've counted out, worked out that if I use this right side for gratitude, I have 5 lines, and then I can write, basically leave a blank space and then another 5 lines, etc., and that will kind of take me down to the bottom of the page, and I'll be able to use it for all the 5 years. So it won't match up with the left hand side, but I'll be able to utilize the whole thing and be able to see the difference between the years. So that's what I do on the right hand side. On the left hand side, I just write in highlights of the day, what we did in the day, and that has been working out really well. So I ordered a cover for this, a custom cover from Lyra & Co. on Etsy, and I'm waiting for that to arrive because it really irks me that there's no pen clip, and I haven't been able to sort out a satisfactory solution to that, so I'm just keeping it like this for the time being, but my cover should arrive any day. So that has been really great. Then I've got a couple of new arrivals that I didn't have at the beginning of the year. This one is a Jolie planner by Ziegel. I did a review of this if anyone is interested to know more about it, and this was kind of a spontaneous decision really. I ordered this because I was very curious about it and I wanted to review it, and it's a really nice planner. So I then decided to use this for a purpose which I had been using before, but I had it together with my gratitude journal. So this is to write down things that I hope will happen, or things that I am anxious about and that I want to happen, things I'm worried about. So like, say if I'm worried about something at work, I will write down in here that that thing has gone well, and then it's kind of like I can tell my brain like it's taken care of, that's being sorted out. And so this is really helpful for just like stress and panic, which I suffer a lot from. So that's what I'm using it for, and I've been decorating it. So I'm using the mini Happy Planner Choose Happy Value Pack, which works pretty perfectly in this because this is a horizontal layout. The mini Happy Planner is a bit smaller, so there's a little bit of extra space on here because this is like an A5 Slim as opposed to personal size, but it works out really well. So I've just been decorating it like this, and then it makes me even more excited to use it, and so I find this was really useful. So this is technically not being used as a planner, just like the 5-year Techo. It's not really a planner, it's more of a tracker or a log. but I have been using this quite a lot. Sometimes if the week is too busy and I don't have time to fill it in, then I'll go back on the weekend and write down everything that's been stressing me out over the week and just write a line about how that's gone well. So that's what I'm using this for, like a vision book. And then on a similar note, this Kikki.K week on 2-page planner, which I just did a review of recently, I have been using to write down nice things that I am going to do the following day. So I write this down at the end of the night, just before I go to bed, and this is a nice way of ending the day on a positive note by setting my mind to think about nice things to look forward to the next day. So because especially when I'm busy at work, and it's not only busy, I find it extremely stressful. I tend to focus on the bad things and what I'm worried about and what I'm afraid will go wrong and how I won't be able to do it all. So I'm just trying to kind of bring the focus to nice things. And so I just write down 1 or 2 things in the morning and 1 thing in the evening just to remind myself they're nice things to look forward to the next day. And that's what I've been using this for. So I've kind of surprised myself because I have actually been using it since I bought this planner, just for the past 3 weeks. So who knows if this will last, but it's very easy because I only write down a couple of words. So it doesn't take a lot of time and it makes me feel happy. So you can see this week I was so busy I just didn't touch it all week, but then yesterday and today I've written it again. So, are you ready for the shocking announcement? It is that this is all I've been using this month. So I've been using 2 actual planners, 1 pretty planner for the family, and then 3 trackers of sorts. And for me, that's actually quite minimalist. So the planners that I had in my lineup at the beginning of the month were quite substantial in number compared to this. These I didn't have in the lineup, these 2, but I did, or maybe I had already started using this or was planning to use this one, I'm not sure, but the Kikki.K one I didn't have, but I did have a whole bunch of other planners that I haven't shown here. So let me just go through what I'm not using. So these are all planners that have been in my lineup that I've mentioned that have fallen by the wayside for one reason or another. And I'm not sure that I won't go back to using them at all, but I thought it would be interesting to kind of discuss here what's happened and why I'm not using them. So first up, we have my daily planner. So at the beginning of the month, I was trying to decide, I had a bit of a dilemma because I had been using this Inkwell Press daily planner, which is undated, but it's for 2018, and I really liked that. But I also had this Moleskine 2018 daily planner, which I couldn't bear to part with and was considering using. So I decided that since life is short and this Inkwell Press is undated, I would just try using this and see what it was like as a daily planner, because the thing about the Inkwell Press is it's both a blessing and can be a drawback, is that it divides everything up into different categories. So instead of just having a blank daily spread, you have this very thoughtfully laid out spread that has today's focus, immediate, important, insignificant, and a schedule and notes. So it's much more structured than just a daily planner with a date and a blank page, which is what I've been using before. And I was really, really enjoying this because I quite liked having the different sections, and I love the layout, and it's aesthetically very pleasing, which, you know, is always a bonus with a planner. It makes you want to use it more. So I was kind of torn. So you can see the last date that I used this was the 7th of January. And then I decided I'm just going to see what happens if I use this one and how I feel about it. Because the thing about a daily planner is that when I first started using them, I just wanted to have a nice long chronological list of every single thing that I had to do in the day, no matter how trivial, just so that I can tick them off one by one and feel like I've done them, and I don't have things kind of like, you know, floating around in my head that I might forget. And I would just draw them from my work planner, my personal planner, and put them on here and tick them off as I go along. By nature, a daily planner is generally something that you don't need to use every day, because some days you're, like, say, doing one thing intensively, or if I'm in university, then I don't use a daily planner because everything that I need is in my work planner. it's really days when I'm at home and there's a mix of work and personal, and I kind of feel like I just want to get a handle on the day in this way. So I decided using this because I missed the unstructuredness of just being able to write down a long chronological list and not divide it into different categories. The Inkwell Press Planner, I feel like, is best suited to productivity, in that if you really want to focus on, like, say, what do I need to get done today, what is not quite so important, what do I need to do first, what do I really want to accomplish, and really like kind of push yourself by putting today's focus up here, then this is great. But if you just, sometimes you just want to make a list, and you know, like, I know what's most important, I know what I need to focus on, I just want to make a list and see everything out in front of me. That's what this is good for. So you can see I actually used both of these on the same day. I think I started off in the Inkwell Press, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to make this long list, and I did, and it was great, and I really liked it. So I was so enthusiastic that this was, by the way, before term started. I was in a break, so I was working, but I was at home. And then I did that the next day and the next day, and this day was the first day that I went back to the university, and from then you can see blank, 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 which just means that I was so busy I was hardly ever at home, and I couldn't even get this out. And then the next day that I used this was a couple of weeks later on a Friday when I'm at home, and then I haven't used it since then. And the same goes for this. So basically I've just been too busy to use a daily planner most of the time. So these are both technically still in the lineup, but I haven't been using them for half the month. So at the moment they're kind of on standby. I could go back to either of them when I want to, and because this one is undated, there's no pressure. Because I've started using this one now as a daily planner, I'm just going to keep using it like that off and on for the rest of the year, rather than using it for something else, because I have a thing about that. Like, once I started using a bound planner for one purpose, I just like to keep it for that. So it doesn't really bother me if there are blank pages in this, because that's the nature of a daily planner. And so these are kind of both like half in the lineup, but they're actually not really. So I just thought I wanted to mention that, because it's kind of interesting to see, what happens with these planners, and do we always use them? No. Then I've got two more planners, actually three more planners, that I was using and that I just haven't been using. The first one is the Planner. So this makes me a little bit sad, because I set this up actually well in advance of the start of the year, and I wanted to use it for everything planner hobby related, just as a way of bringing focus to the hobby and making the most of it and having a lot of fun with it. And so I did start using it. I made some spreads with video ideas, pens that I have, some more blank spreads for things that I could use, like planner wish list and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I set up the first couple of spreads for January and February. And then as soon as January hit, my idea was that I was going to use this as a video planner. So I would plan out the videos that I wanted to make for the month. And I did a little bit, but then when term started, I just got so busy at work that I couldn't make any videos, as you've seen, which is why why there's been such a gap. And I've really wanted to make videos, but I just haven't been able to. So this has just been it's been in my planner tree, which is something that I showed on Instagram. It's just, I think it's supposed to be a magazine rack. I found it in a charity shop, and anyway, I've been using it as like a planner holder on the table. So this has been totally neglected, and if I have anything planner related that I think of, I just put it in here because I have this with me all the time. Then this is the James planner. So this is the planner where I would give James jobs to do, and again, because I've been so busy, I haven't been at home enough to have ideas for things that I want him to do, and so this hasn't really been used very much. The last time I used it was on the 21st of January, so about 10 days ago, but this is not officially out of the lineup either. It's just that I haven't really been using it, so it's also on standby, and it can come back into use. But I guess I just wanted to mention that it's not like I've officially axed these from my lineup, any of these, but I haven't been using them. Interestingly, these are the ones that I have been using consistently over the month, every day. So I thought that was kind of just interesting to note. And then finally, there's one more planner that I haven't been using, and that is my small Erin Condren hardband, which I was using as an expense tracker. And again, like, totally fallen by the wayside, and I've just put it on the shelf. So it's effectively become a casualty to the planner graveyard. Again, I could get it out again. It could be that in the next month or a month after that, that I will feel inspired to start expense tracking again. But I just feel like I haven't been able to manage it. I've only been able to manage the most, essential things. And for that, like, my work planner is my lifeline. And then this one is kind of like a catch-all for everything else. And then I've been doing these various types of tracking that I just do, like, kind of very quick at the end of the day, like 5 minutes, fill in this. And then sometimes I leave these two blank, or sometimes I fill in a couple of lines on each of these, so it really only takes a minute. And the Erin Condren I've been decorating on Friday night, which is like my night off. So that is the current planner situation as we go into February 2018. I hope you found this interesting. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to be back again soon making more videos. Thank you so much for your support and for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!